One of the best aspects of WRTI is how easy it is to use. So the website, westerntraining.org, people can access it from their homes. Centers can also access it during a live training. So let's take a look at it. Website, westerntraining.org. As you can see, there are two login options, one for new users, one for existing users. One of the reasons why we had to go with dual logons is it was important to restrict access to people that were affiliated with one of the centers, the curriculum. And so to restrict the access, we had to make sure that everyone trying to access the website was affiliated with one of the centers. New users are added by an administrator, so each center has one or two administrators, and so they go into the system, they add users. A new user would log in under the new user registration, and allow them to log in or not recognize them and restrict the access. For existing users, they're adding their email and their password. If someone forgets their password, the administrator at the center can access that for them and reset the password. And because I'm an existing user, as an administrator, I have an administrative page I can log on to. And so if I want to add a user, I'm just going to type in their email address here. Click on add a user, and that way when the person tries to log on to the site will recognize them as a user and allow them to go on. I can also, as an administrator, reset the password in case someone has lost their password, deactivate a user if someone's no longer affiliated with a center, and also look at to complete the 40 to 80 hours of training prior to working with anyone at any of the centers. And they also have to complete a number of hours of training each year to remain certified. And so look at it, pull down any of the users. Now, because I'm a site administrator, I have access to everyone. An administrator from a center would only be able to access the users from their particular center. And then I could look at certificates. So in this case, this user has completed the session 1 on history and philosophy, and so the user can print this out for their own files, and then the centers have a copy as well for their files. Okay, going back to the main menu. The internal operating procedures, all of the instructions for anyone from any of the centers, and also any of the handouts for the sessions. If people want to print them and save copies, they can do that as well. So, looking at the menu, see you have a lot of different across the region. So, for instance, the legal options session 16, was contributed by Women's Center and Shelter, and a lawyer that's on staff with the center was pretty instrumental in establishing some of the victims' rights in sexual assault cases. And so having that session conducted by an expert from one particular center allows us to share those resources. So each center took their specialty area, brought their best people, and contributed at least one session to the library. So really easy to use. Looking at session 1, history. Before I am permitted to complete the session, I have to take a pretest. And so I'm looking at the history section, and the history session was actually the most used session this year. So some people will complete all 16 sessions to complete the certification process. Other centers will just have people use 1 or 2 of the sessions, or maybe more. And then in addition, you may have board members that are just refreshing their certifications as well. And the history session was a good one for board members. So going through, I'm just going to randomly choose answers here. So again, very easy to use. Submitting. Now, in this case, because I have already completed this section is going to allow me to go on to the video. If I were a new user and I could go back over and review that. So I'd go into the video section. So I'm looking at the first session. This is an introduction to the history session. As you can see with this particular session, there aren't any handouts. If there were, I could click here to get the handouts for the session. We have it set up so that the user does have to watch the entire video before they can take the post test. Since I've already gone through this session and completed my certification, I can stop this at any time. So I'm going to return to the menu. Go back to the session, and at the point that I finished the video, I would go to the post test, which isn't showing up here because I've already completed it. So you see post test completed, so I'm able to access my certificate. And again, I can print that off, return it to either of the centers that I'm affiliated with. And then go back to the menu and choose another session or finish there. That's really it. So very easy to use. When I'm finished with my session, I'm going to log out. So as you can see, the website is really easy to use. Feedback that we've gotten so far has been very positive. So people have found it user-friendly, pretty intuitive, and very simple as far as printing out their certificates and moving on through the sessions.